The Vietnamese people exemplify this spirit through their warm and hard-working hospitality, ensuring that no moment is taken for granted. From the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Ha Long Bay to the serene rice terraces of Sapa, northern Vietnam is sure to captivate and inspire. Join us as we embark on our first journey to this remarkable country and share tips for planning the perfect trip to northern Vietnam. With the stresses of moving to a new apartment and changing jobs weighing on us, Jason and I felt frazzled and disconnected. Living in a bustling city, we often get caught up in the daily grind, leaving little time to appreciate the beauty and power of nature. We chose northern Vietnam as our travel destination, hoping to reconnect with the natural world and momentarily escape our everyday worries. Our adventure began with a flight from Seattle to Seoul, followed by a connecting flight to Vietnam. We arrived in Hanoi at 8:50 p.m. and headed straight to our hotel in the Old Quarter, where we quickly fell asleep, exhausted from our 19-hour travel day. The next morning we woke up early to savor a delicious Vietnamese breakfast. The complimentary meals at hotels across Vietnam are fantastic. Each place we stayed offered freshly prepared pho and other traditional dishes at no extra cost. Starting our day with the bold and fresh flavors of Vietnamese cuisine was invigorating. After breakfast, we boarded a bus to Ninh Binh, a small city located just an hour and a half south of Hanoi. Known as the Ha Long Bay on land, Ninh Binh is surrounded by steep limestone cliffs, lush greenery and winding rivers. Upon arrival we enjoyed a scenic bike ride to Vietnam's ancient capital, where we visited a beautiful temple dedicated to the country's first emperor. This experience deepened our understanding of Vietnam's rich history. Continuing our bike ride through picturesque rice fields, we stopped at another Buddhist temple, immersing ourselves in the culture and history of this amazing country. After our ride we enjoyed lunch before heading to one of the most anticipated parts of our trip, Trang An. Trang An is a tranquil wonderland of towering limestone cliffs, winding rivers and lush forests that seem to stretch endlessly. This UNESCO World Heritage Site offers a glimpse into a world untouched by time. Paddling through the river surrounded by rice fields and limestone formations was the perfect way to connect with nature and forget our worries. Our final stop in Ninh Binh was Hang Ngu Cave. The steep hike to the top took just over 15 minutes, but the breathtaking view made it well worth the effort. From the summit we enjoyed a panoramic view of Ninh Binh's stunning landscape, with rivers and emerald rice paddies stretching as far as the eye could see. We even found an impressive dragon sculpture at the top, perfect for a photo opportunity. That evening we relaxed at Trang An Inca Lodge, nestled against the limestone cliffs, a serene place to unwind after a day of exploration. The following morning we hopped on a bus to the iconic Ha Long Bay. Since childhood I had dreamed of visiting this breathtaking destination, famous for its limestone cliffs rising from emerald waters. Eager to experience it firsthand, the 4-hour bus ride felt like an eternity. Once we arrived we checked into a cruise with the Spira and soon boarded our home for the next 3 days. Selecting a cruise can be overwhelming given the hundreds of options available. We loved our experience with Spira, but many others we spoke to enjoyed their cruises as well. Our advice is to prioritize the activities you want to do rather than getting caught up in other factors, as it's hard to go wrong. As we began our journey through Ha Long Bay, we were treated to a delicious buffet lunch. The views were spectacular as we sailed through one of the world's most unique landscapes. We spent the evening kayaking, swimming, and relaxing in the serene atmosphere. Waking up to breathtaking views outside our window was a dream come true. We started the day with Vietnamese Tai Chi on the deck, a peaceful way to reconnect with our bodies. After a satisfying buffet breakfast, we boarded a smaller day boat that took us to the more remote parts of Ha Long Bay, including a stop on Cat Ba Island. As we sailed through narrow inlets, we enjoyed spectacular views while learning about the local fishing economy and the floating houses where fishermen live. Upon reaching Cat Ba Island, we rode bikes 5 kilometers to a nearby village, surrounded by water, lush foliage, and butterflies. In the village, we learned about the island's history, experienced a fish foot massage, and toured a traditional clay house. Cat Ba Island has historically served as a vital trade hub and a refuge for fishing communities. It was a beautiful glimpse into rural Vietnamese life. After a delicious lunch, we visited a local fishing village where we were fascinated by the size of some of the fish being raised. We capped off the afternoon with more kayaking, then returned to our main cruise ship to unwind and enjoy the views. Before dinner, we participated in a cooking class on board, learning to make Vietnamese spring rolls, an easy and enjoyable experience. After another gourmet dinner, we retired, exhausted from our action-packed adventure. On our last day in Ha Long Bay, we woke up to more stunning views. It was hard to believe our time in this paradise was coming to an end. Surrounded by such natural beauty felt surreal, and we often had to remind ourselves that this was real life. If you're planning a trip to Ha Long Bay, we highly recommend a 2-night, 3-day cruise for the best experience, ideally in the fall when visibility is at its best. After kayaking one last time and enjoying our final meal on the ship, we returned to the harbor for a 3.5-hour bus ride back to Hanoi. Upon arrival, we explored the city and took in the sights. The bustling atmosphere was a stark contrast to our peaceful days in Ha Long Bay, but we embraced the change as a seasoning of life. We embarked on a 3-hour food tour that proved to be a highlight of our trip. We sampled banh quan, pho without broth, banh mi, dried beef salad, jackfruit, the famous snail soup recommended by Anthony Bourdain, and an incredible egg-whipped hot chocolate. The vibrant and tangy flavors were a delight, and watching the skilled preparation of the dishes was a pleasure. Best of all, the entire tour cost less than $10. After the food tour, we made our way to the train station in Hanoi for an overnight journey to the next part of our adventure. We boarded the Chapa Express, departing daily at 10 p.m. and arriving in Lao Cai at 5:55 a.m. This was a fun and convenient way to travel to Sapa. Despite the train's movement, we slept surprisingly well and woke up refreshed for our first day in Sapa. Upon arrival in Lao Cai, we took a taxi to our hotel in Sapa. The drive was stunning, with misty mountains draped in clouds, creating a mystical atmosphere. We felt as though we were driving above the clouds, looking down on the rolling hills of rice terraces. It was one of the most beautiful drives we had ever experienced. We stayed at the Topaz Eco Lodge, located on a cliffside with breathtaking panoramic views of the emerald rice terraces and quaint wooden houses that felt perfectly integrated with the landscape. Throughout our stay, we never tired of taking deep breaths and enjoying the view. After relaxing at our hotel, we ventured into Sapa to experience traditional rural life in Cat Cat Village. Nestled in a valley, Cat Cat Village felt like a place frozen in time, with stunning traditional wooden architecture set against the mountains and a running river. Exploring the village transported us back to the 19th century. After visiting Cat Cat Village, we took a motorbike back to Sapa for dinner before returning to our hotel for a much-needed full night of sleep. The next morning, we enjoyed a delicious breakfast at the hotel before meeting our local guide for a hike through the stunning rice terraces to a village at the bottom of the valley. The hike was beautiful, with rivers, chirping birds, and blooming flowers surrounding us. Our guide shared insights about life in Sapa and nearby villages, including the challenges they face. We learned that the views would be even more beautiful in August during the rice harvest, giving us yet another reason to return to Vietnam. After the hike, we enjoyed a delicious lunch at the Topaz River Lodge and toured a local house before heading back to our hotel. This humbling experience allowed us to learn and connect with the local culture. Overall, hiking through the backcountry of Sapa was one of the highlights of our trip. It was a personal dream of mine to trek through rice terraces, and I couldn't help but smile as we did so. This experience allowed us to connect with nature, leaving us feeling refreshed. After our tour, we boarded a bus for the return trip to Hanoi in preparation for our flight the next day. As we drove back, we reflected on our enchanting journey through Vietnam. Travel is a privilege, and our trip broadened our perspectives, helping us learn how to become the best versions of ourselves. We left feeling connected to nature, refreshed, and ready to tackle the significant life changes awaiting us at home. Vietnam surprised us in many ways. Despite its troubled past, the country is warm and welcoming. This was a true highlight of our trip. The food was incredible, and we developed a newfound respect for the art of Vietnamese street food. The combination of stunning natural beauty and rich culture made for an unforgettable journey. We wholeheartedly recommend visiting Vietnam to experience all it has to offer. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. We have plenty more travel content to share, and we hope you have an amazing day.